All right, Joe, what's going on here? It is now noon. We are going to get started, noon Central Time, that is. And we've got a little bit of rolling over here, finally, by the sellers taking control, rejecting the 453 gamma. So before we get started, we're going to go with the disclaimer, and then we'll get to talking. Material information and presentation is for educational and educational entertainment purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice or recommendations. Any and all statements made on this channel are the sole opinions of Options Millionaire and should not be taken as financial advice. No financial decision should be made based on the material shown here on the channel. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss. Is not suitable for all investors. Any investor could potentially lose all or more of the initial investment. Risk capital is money that cannot be lost or that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading purposes, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Trading is one of the riskiest and most difficult tasks you can undertake. It must be approached with extreme caution. Do not invest in money you can't afford to lose. Good stuff. All right, so I've finally secured the first trade of the day. Crazy stuff. Waiting all day to see if the sellers were actually going to pull away from this top GEX level on at 453 SPY. And finally it did. So my thesis all week has been early bullishness and then Thursday, Friday red. I started to look like a bit of a jabroni this morning. So far it's starting to play out. We'll see if it continues to hold into tomorrow. Either way, I don't expect too much volatility because long holiday weekend and everyone's kind of spaced out. So we'll see. VIX has popped up to 1388. We've got a lot of liquidity. Well, had a lot of liquidity at 15,500 on NASDAQ. It's since been pulled. On ES, we have 4510 to the downside. Crazy stuff. So, we'll be looking around here. It's been a pretty nasty day. We finally got some good non-wicked action. Even the trend up this morning here was heavily wicked. It was disgusting. I didn't take a single trade. This right here was wicked until finally the sellers hit and rolled over. And what came with that rollover with no wicks? Volume. Finally, the sellers step in and roll some volume back over, and we get some good confident price action right off of 453 GEX. So, yeah. And now, with volume dissipating again right here, I'm now either looking to see this roll back over or no trade because I do not want to face wicks. I've got my one good trade in. I didn't even anticipate getting one trade, but I got it. Let's see here. Still got some bottom wicks, 15,530. So far, this is a 40-point bounce on NASDAQ, so despite the seller's volume, the buyers still hit, which nearly was the low of the day. So we got down within 8 points of low of the day on NASDAQ. So nasty stuff. Nasty stuff. NASDAQ's holding strong. Strong, as the kids call it. We do have some liquidity building back up 45.30. We've got 15,566 up top and removal of this 500 on the bottom. So still have buyer's liquidity on the top there. Still a bottom wick climbing up here. Don't anticipate taking another trade unless I have some good high volume moves, which I don't anticipate. So most likely I'm just observing and watching the price action unless I see something kick off, which most likely will not happen unless they continue to roll it. Otherwise it's wick central, and I ain't getting caught up in that. 15,530 coming back up. Only session low. Low of the day is far away on NASDAQ. That's what I mean. Low of the day is session low. I don't count pre-market low in my low of the day because they're different. Pre-market low would be on down. Pre-market low is 15,460. Way on down. Let's see here. Nice little bounce there so far. We got a 5-point bounce on ES. And a 40-point bounce on NASDAQ, and it's still going. And I'm not going to touch it unless I see volume. You see the volume is already dropping off here, which could just be a little bit of a profit taking because you got this price action going up. You got the volume going down. A little bit of a divergence here between price action and volume. I don't want to be a part of it. Let's see here. Not to mention it was top of the hour. Top of the hour bounce there. We tapped the bottom right before it, and Nasdaq is still climbing. Amazon is rocketing back up again right when the freaking stream starts. We start again with low volume crap. Figures, right? So ES is bouncing back up. We'll look for a move here. More green. All right. So buying back up, 15,540, still going. Nasdaq putting on a 50-point bounce already on no volume. In fact, the lightest volume candle of the day, the two lightest volume candles of the day. So if you're looking for a downtrend, you don't necessarily want to see this kind of a move on low volume. A small little retracement, cool, that's all right. But 50 points on Nasdaq on two of the lowest volume candles, that means once again the sellers had their quick little trip. All this appeared to be was a 453 rejection on GEX. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you this on the YouTube. So this is taken from tomorrow's expiration, the weekly expiration on Trading Ticks. You see that the top negative exposure is 453 on SPY. Also, you see by the aggregate white little squiggly is that we are in heavy negative GEX territory, which is indicative of volatility. So 453 with pretty much nothing else on the charts except 450 and 453. We come up, we hit 453, which is right here, and we reject. The first decent rejection we've had like all freaking week. But unfortunately, the sellers can't hold it, and we're coming back up. Could low volume just be sellers waiting for it to come back down? Yeah. And if that were to occur, I mean, if you are looking for this to come back down, you don't want to see this come too far up because that invalidates it. That will invalidate the move to come back down. At a certain point, the buyers are just back in control. So I would give it another 6 to 10 minutes here. And then if the buyers don't bring it back up, then we can look for a continuation down, especially going into tomorrow, which is September. Now, obviously, we've got a long weekend ahead, so which lends itself to slow price action. But tomorrow kicks off September, which is seasonally a very bearish month. But I'll be watching this liquidity shift here. We have this guy coming on here, 531. ES has 45.10 and then a bunch right up here, 45.30 down to 45.23. See, Nasdaq is still pushing. 45.24 ES. Nasdaq is coming up hard. Still have a lot of buyers, and they got shifted up to 575. So already we're dealing with a 50-point bounce. No volume. Another retest of highs? Possibly. Possibly. The buyers are still in control. The whole theme of this week is bottom wick. No matter how aggressive the sells this week, it's always bottom wick. Is September normally more bearish in the first half or second half of the month? I'll have to take a look. I'll give you a heads up here. We'll see. Don't want to do that. So last year, from the entire month was bearish. We sold off until October actually, so the entire month was bearish incredibly bearish last year. Let's take a look at 2021, which would in 2021 we kicked off beginning of September, the first week of September, and we sold off into October. So the entire month in 2021 was bearish. Let's go to 2020. In 2020, September 2nd we sold off, and we sold off into September 24th. So nearly the entire month was bearish. Let's go back to 2019. 2019, we started selling off on September 18th and sold off until October 3rd. So about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So for the past 4 years, nearly the entire month has been selling off from the beginning to end, and we'll see if that plays out this time. Nasdaq still climbing up, 493. I was looking forward to doing some good volatile streaming for y'all, but unfortunately it bounced right so I got on here, and now we're back to the same old crap. Low volume wicks. So can I go over liquidity? Yeah. So liquidity is activity in the market. When you put on an order, theoretically, let's say you open up your broker and you place an order to buy. You have enough money. Let's say Granot Burgett leaves you a couple of $100 million in your brokerage account, and you go to plant and you want to buy 3,000 ES contracts. So if you go in your broker, you put on you buy quantity of 3,000 for a price of, let's say, 45.30. All right. Well, on this is going to show up as open liquidity 45.30 for 3,000. That is activity. Now, hopefully, you're being a smart little steward of Ant Burgett's money, and you're going to try to transact that call because you're not speculating like we do. You're not putting 3,000 orders on and crossing your fingers and hoping it gets filled. You're going to attempt to use the whole extent of your portfolio to bid this market up, or you're in the know of some sort, or you're related to Nancy Pelosi and you know what's going to happen. So, having said that, is that in me being the retail jabroni that I am, I want to think like an institutional investor, and I'm going to look to see where they're placing these large lots of liquidity, and I want to trade around those. Nasdaq now 60 points higher on no volume, the lowest volume of the day. So just a low volume bounce here, which tells us sellers have completely stepped out. VIX is rolling all the way over, and I'm not chasing this. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hopefully you're not Ted Beneke. Yeah. So yeah, I want to track those open liquidity lots to figure out where this thing is going to go, or pivot, or consolidate. Now outside of that, it's a deeper conversation into how they manage that liquidity, how they alter it, change it, take it off, put it on, use the iceberg, stop runs, all that kind of stuff. So ES put on 10 points. And right now, ES is doing a retest of the morning low, which is 45.25. Nasdaq, I believe, is doing right now it's well below. So the price action is much different on ES and Nasdaq. But Nasdaq put on a bid 60 points there. So we'll see here, 451. $45.24. Nasdaq has 15.546. 547. VIX came all the way off. So VIX had a nice little pop too after defending that 1364, and immediately they kill it. They kill the VIX immediately. So it doesn't bode well for further downside when they're doing that stuff. Apple's kind of trickling up here. All across the board, we're looking like just a trickle upwards here. Liquidity's higher, and most likely we're going to run right up to 575 again on Nasdaq. It's just going. Yep. So as quickly as they sell it off, they buy it right on back up with half the volume. And what that tells you is that the sellers rotate it back down, completely step out. Sorry about them fighting a little chest cold on. $15,551. 451. Where'd we bounce? So today's gamma flip is 451. So we crossed back under 451, immediately hammer bought up. So the dealers are buying the hedge now. Once you cross over into positive gamma, now NASDAQ is up 70 points. Just straight on V recovering on the lowest volume candles of the day by far. In fact, I think it's the lowest volume candles of the week. We went into positive gamma on that dip, Trader J, not negative. We are currently back in negative. We dropped into positive. So 451 was the flipped into positive gamma. Yeah, I think you got some calculations. Either you or Traded Tick is wrong. Has got the calculations wrong. Because think about it. When you flip into positive gamma territory, now you have to buy to hedge. So once we flip down into 451, precisely around 451, they started to buy this thing back up. After rejecting 453 negative. So they went level to level. So you're right here, look. See, that flips down at 451 with that collective GEX. What's up, Tommy Hill? How's it going? Another fool was exposed a few days ago. I think his name was Options Guru or something. He was fake paper trading, saying when they were real trades. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. There's a bunch of them out there. What iceberg tells us from the graph below? Well, right now there are no real icebergs to speak of. It's nothing on there in terms of iceberg orders. Little stops, but no icebergs. 15.54. TLT is rolling off. Apple's coming up. Yeah, that's pretty common, Tommy. Anyone who's posting screenshots of big wins, that's all they do is post on their Twitter big profitable wins, most likely they're full of crap. I've been doing this long enough. I mean, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. All right, now 70 points on NASDAQ. It's still going. 70 points on NASDAQ. Nice bounce. Let's see here. So I'd fully expect NASDAQ to continue to creep on up here to 575. There's no reason why it won't. Just buy every red, and as long in these type of environments, you know that saying applies of never short a dull market. The second you see volume dissipate, buy. Boom, that's it. And then it'll just rocket, because once you see the seller step out, this market is in buy up mode. That's all it is. So the second you see dissipation of volume, buy, and just hold. Set a trailing stop. That's all it's been working all week long. And I've been trying. You know, obviously we're on the Bookmap stream, which is open to the public, but I've been telling the Discord all week, don't short. Don't short anything unless you see volume. Today I've waited very patiently, took one short until we had volume. In search of volume. Yeah. $15.555. Apple's creeping. Ooh, bottom wick. We're back to bottom wicks. Right on back up. No volume. I really want to add it with the Bookmap. Is there a way to vary footprint chart? Probably somewhere. On the surprise part, that break and retest looked like it would be a short to you, if not why. Yeah, this right here. Yeah, this I shorted, but only because we had volume. I didn't touch any of this. I didn't take a single trade. I shorted this, exited at the bottom, and now obviously we're declining volume and coming up, which is back to wicks. And the problem with this stuff is that we keep getting these rollovers, which we've been having all week long, and they immediately wick. So it's difficult to trade, which means I'm out. Low volume is low confidence. Volume to me is more important than price action because volume confirms price action. The more volume I've got, the more confidence I have. Another bottom wick right there. Bottom wick after bottom wick. We entered into positive gamma territory, and we go higher. NASDAQ is now going, now up 80 points from lows on no volume. Still going. Every candle higher than the last. Most likely we're about to wipe 575, and if we take that out, we're going to go right on back up to the high of the day. 15.6. What lines out on my chart? This is the 50 simple moving average right here. I only really pay attention to it on the longer time frames. I only keep it on there so I don't have to continually add it back on there when I zoom out to the daily or weekly. OM's my volume indicator. I still have trouble reading it. Well, that's why we're here. If you discipline yourself to only trade around high volume, you'll trim up a lot of your mistakes. It'll keep you safe, especially a day like today, which is dumpster fire price action. And understanding that we're going into a long holiday weekend. Another bottom wick. Once we hit highs, can we keep an eye and see if we break or reject through? Yeah. What's up, sir? How you doing? What's the sauce this afternoon? Right now, we just buy the dip. Until volume comes back, continue to buy. Continue to buy. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let me know if you have any questions. What's up, Derek? How do you analyze high volume? Yep, high volume bar. High volume bars. NASDAQ still going. They bottom wick that thing again. VIX is still rolling off, so everything points to higher. Continue to buy. Buy it up. Set a trailing stop. It's going to keep on going. 575. Keep on buying it up. Let's take a look at the liquidity. We have some here at 15,570. We have down at 15,531. So we do have some liquidity lower, but right now, until we have volume, you keep on going. Just took my first SPX loss this morning thinking we're about to break out. It's all right. Nothing wrong with losses as long as you keep them small. Losses are as common in trading as breathing. Still going higher. Glad I can match my thesis against yours. Big hug from Fort Lauderdale. Sweet. Appreciate that. Hope you stayed safe in the I guess the big giant hurricane, or the big giant tornado, hurricane. Still going. 451. NASDAQ still going higher. That's 80 points. All flows. Yep, calls are cooking. Calls are cooking. Let's go over to ES, see what it's doing. Full-on V recovery with dropping volume. We've got 45.28. ES is back inside. That's a 14-point bounce on ES. Any idea what the catalyst was from Amazon this morning? It was its turn to rally. Every day we've had a tech stock rally absurdly, and today was Amazon's turn. Huge outlier in Amazon. 45.28. Nasdaq still going higher. 15.567. Keep on going. Set your trailing stops. 15.570. Here comes 575. Keep on buying. Set your trailing stops. I would look for it. Oh, there, just removed 573, 575. Let's see what they do with this. Microsoft is rebounding hard. After a lot of weakness, Microsoft is finally going. They're about to take out this 570, and they're going to go up through and go to 584. Keep on buying. Don't stop. Set your trailing stops. VIX is coming off hard, 1363. About to put another low in the day in on the VIX. If it can't hold, if the VIX breaks below where it's currently at right now, then we're most likely to go back up and hit 15,600 as well. This is an important moment right here. They just took off that liquidity, so that's the first weakness on the bulls. So set your trailing stops if you're in. This is the first test right here of the afternoon, I should say. I don't want to see them removing liquidity if we are going higher, so that's the first little chink in the armor there that I don't like. Set your trailing stops. $15,570. Here it goes, coming back up. Let's take a look at ES. They've got this guy right here, 45.30. That's an 80-point bounce on NASDAQ. Huge bottom wick, 15-minute, under significantly low volume. See, now they've removed all this liquidity. They took off this guy. Now they remove this. Not looking good, but be patient. And watch this stuff shift. Oh, bottom wick back up. Still no volume. So if I am looking for red, let's say you are looking for red, which I would not recommend, is look for a top wick and then increased volume. We need to see the seller start hitting. Until then, all red you see is just people taking profit, a couple of people hitting the tape here, nothing crazy. So if you want to play downside, you have to be on the same side as the institutional investors, the big dogs, which there's not many in the tape right now because we're coming up on a holiday weekend. Tape's very light. The book's very light. So if you're looking for this, I want to see at least this level of volume. At least. And you may not get it for a couple candles. But still. All right. Bottom wick goes higher. There's 15,572. Set your trailing stops. Keep on buying. Set your trailing stops. Keep on buying. Right into 575. Every candle's higher than the last. On no volume. Do not short. Until you see volume. Let's see if we can take out 578. I found a volume indicator on TradingView that helped me to see this volume called Volume Spread VSA Custom. Interesting. All right, another pop there, 575. Here's coming from that. And let's see if we can get 575. Not yet. Almost got there. What did we get? We got 574.25. No, we did get 575. We grabbed it. Yeah, right on the money. So we grabbed 575. All that's left is back up at 15,590. And that right there is a 85-point bounce under declining volume, which favors the bulls. You don't short low volume like this. Don't do it. Set your trailing stops just in case they do hit it and wipe it down. Wipe me down, wipe me down. No, I remember that song. Just set your trailing stops. That's the downside of playing up low volume uptrend like this, is that when the sellers do hit it, it happens quick like this. So you have to set trailing stops. Otherwise, because you won't have time to get out where you want to once they do hit it. Set your trailing stops. Right up here. One at 8.09. VIX is coming off 1363. Microsoft is creeping up 328.36. Amazon's up 15.572. Let's take a look at ES as well. 45.29. $15.574. Bottom wick. Keep on buying. Set your trailing stops. Or holding if you're already in. No shorting. There's 15.576. Still going higher. Looking for 5.87. I don't know if they'll come back down this today, but right now, this current moment, volume's declining. Everything's bottom wick. There's zero sellers. A lack of volume tells you something. A lack of volume tells you something. It's all green. In fact, let's hack these candles up. Here's the 5 minute. Let's go to the 3. 3 minute. 2 minute. 1 minute. Look at all that buy volume on the 1 minute. There's a 2 minute. You see the sellers come in a little bit, but still, every time the sellers hit, look at that. Look how low the volume is. Weak sellers. Let's go to the 3. 3 minute, you see that overall picture is buyers. Let's go to the 4. Let's go to the 5. Let's go to the 15. See that? It's all buyers. Do not short until you see the sellers start to hit. How about buying spreads, put spreads with a 2 to 3 timeline? Yeah, I like it. We have a couple of members doing that right now on the server with a lot of success. A lot of success. VIX just gapped down to new low of the day. And you know what that means. Set your trailing stops. Don't go shorting. Ride it up. $15.570. Let's see if they can hold 575. Set your trailing stops. Have I set it enough yet? Let's see. I'm still holding 570. Should I say? Jabroni. I made profit on a put all the way down with a small account, no more funds. Should have known to play the recovery. It's literally what happens every day. That's all right. I'd rather play the high volume stuff anyway. So, do your thing. Still holding. Bottom wick. No volume, don't short. Still hitting higher. 451.79. So the upside still look for 453 on SPY. So we'll see if they're going to attack leg to leg. 451 to 453 on SPY. They're putting on more liquidity higher, 592. ES has 4540, 4520. My position is don't short and wait for high volume. 15591 up top, still heading higher. Set a trailing stop. Now that see, from a bookmap perspective, when this thing is climbing higher and I see more liquidity coming on, that is a decent sign to look for higher if you're looking along, obviously. 15.6 is the prior, but what is it? 606 is the high. So this thing's heading back higher until we see volume. Shorts all day, puts at the play. Aside from one play, this would have been a very difficult market to short today. A lot of bottom wicks, a lot of grinding higher, a lot of theta decay. It's not a good day. Still bottom wicking. We may come down later in the day, but I still need volume first. Right now, we do have a prior rejection here on NASDAQ at 582, so that would be at a decent micro imbalance to fill, 582 on NASDAQ, but only with volume. I don't want to go chasing unless we got volume. It's easy to look back at low of the day and say that was a long entry. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Over 100% on puts the same. I caught the top. Very easy profit, actually. There's always someone who says it's easy when everyone else thinks it's hard. There's always someone. So, congratulations. It's the beauty of the internet. 15,560 on NASDAQ coming off. $45.30 on ES. Do you track opening print levels? I track the first hour range. So the first hour of the range, I track the high pivot, the low pivot, as well as the overnight. And I trade based off those. So. Bottom wick. Why do we have a bottom wick? No volume. So I'm not going to go chase anything here until we have volume. Set your trailing stops. So we have a little coming on, 45.20, 45.40 is overarching. This guy's coming on and off, 15.591. So the difficulty of today is the fact that it's a light book throughout. And, you know, it translates to the low volume we have on the chart. 45.40 up top here. And 15.530 on the bottom. Bottom wick back up. 15.566. So I'm going to see this little influx of volume. A little bit of seller's hit there. Do I use any other indicator besides RSI and MACD? Nope. Those are all worthless. I don't use them. I use strictly volume and price action. SPY 5-minute candles, likely profit takers based on volume? Yep, most likely. Until you see something shift. Because here's the thing. The market is not going to pivot back and forth unless we've got some sort of chop day, which those are really untradeable anyway. But on a larger move day like this, the market's an auction. And it's not going to sit there and go up and down, up and down, up and down too quick. So and if you read Anna Colling's book, she talks about campaigns, how buyers on all time frames, they conduct these campaigns of buying and these campaigns of selling. And your job as a trader is not to chase these moves, it's to figure out where they're starting each campaign. And you do that through historical price action, looking at volume profile, looking at volume, historical pivots, etc. You could also use forward-looking data, which is Bookmap. Bookmap is future data, orders yet to be filled. And using those, combining those, you could figure out where the campaigns occur. So that's why I'm saying you don't short until the price action tells you it's time to short, if that's what you're looking for, because it's a lot of retail's tendency to want to short pops and to buy the dips. You want to reverse the price action instead of playing with what's happening. Not to mention it's difficult to short anyway. Now I use this in addition to trading ticks. That's why I'm a big believer in VPA, volume price analysis. In my opinion, in addition to doing volume on the charts, you need to do option chain analytics, which is a volume analysis of its own on the option chain. That's why I try to track the short interest in the market, where the GEX levels are, open interest, volume, all that kind of stuff in the option chain, because dealers hedge dynamically, and if you could follow their hedging requirements, then you could figure out where this market wants to go. To some degree of certainty, and obviously not perfect. Otherwise, we'd all be bazillionaires. So, yeah, Anthony, I don't necessarily disagree with more downside later today, but currently, right now, we're not ready to short just yet. We have a little volume. Now, we did come out and almost fill the imbalance up to the 14 or 15,582. And I don't. My whole thesis the whole week was early bullishness, Thursday, Friday, red. Thursday, Friday, bearishness. That was my thesis. So, and once I see the sellers kind of jumping on back board, I'll see if this thing's going to rotate back down to 451 or 450. But I need to see the volume jump on here for me to get on board with that. If I even want to take a trade. I've taken one trade today and done pretty dang well. But, that's all. That's what it is. Is Bookmap free? No, it's not. Well, they have a free version on TOS if you're using TOS, but it's limited in resources and add-ons. So, ES is back to flat, 0.09% green. Bottom wick back up. No volume, no sell. Let's see. There's a slight increase in sell volume, but the inability to move the price down tell you they're having a hard time moving the price down. Yeah, so right here, what I'm seeing is a potential entry into some sort of supply. It's not obviously not a very large supply, but what do I know? I know, one, we've got an imbalance right here. The market came up, the sellers whacked it all the way down. We creep back up, we didn't quite fill yet. So I know there's some sort of supply in this area because we already rejected this area once, and two, we have a little bit of sell volume coming in. But so far, they're unable to move the tape. So all that's happening here, they're conducting an auction. The buyers and sellers are kind of duking it out. Very, very light volume, of course. We've said that a million times. So from now, yes, you're exactly right, is that we have an inability to transact lower. So I don't want to go shorting on this just yet until I see something I want to see. If this does rotate down, I know that there's a good way to come back down. I'm not worried about that. I just want to take a high confident entry here. Of course, I'm using market awareness. Plus, I also know is this right here. The VIX right now is, once again, hitting this low of the day that's holding mid-13s. The VIX is mean reversion. The VIX is, they roll this off because if you understand what the VIX is, it's a representation of dealers positioning from a 25 to 30-ish day position out. So as the dealers are rolling off and on positions, and they keep having that mean reversion on trades where they roll positions on and off as price action moves, that's why you continue to get these big pops and draws on the VIX. Big pop up to 18, sell back off. Big pop up, sell back off. Over and over again. Because the VIX isn't traded. You can't go out and buy the VIX. You can buy VIX futures, but you can't buy the VIX. That's why there's no volume. So this is a representation of options data as mean reversion, and this is happening into the end of month close, which is today. Which is nearing that quote-unquote support. I use the term quote support lightly because there is no support, but you get the point, hopefully. So now we get a little bit of pressure by the sellers here. Still no volume. So what I'm going to do is come to the 1 minute. We have an influx of volume on the 1 minute. And just kind of build into this because we just started the 5 minute candle. You're welcome, Zach. Is that trading view? Yeah, this is trading view right here. Trading view on the right and the map of book on the left. Now we got some red. So if you were long and set your trailing stops like a good person, then your trailing stop should hit very nice. Nice little profit. And now you're good to go. That's a big enough move where it should have tripped your trailing stop. You want to set them tight enough where this or wide enough where this stuff won't stop you out, but tight enough that this will without giving back too much profit. That is the 50 simple moving average right here. Yep. Walmart hit all-time highs today. Nice. How come mine has a different path? Mine's on the 5 minute EMA, or the 5 minute charts here. So this is time frame dependent. So just check your time frame. A little more pressure here. $15,550 coming on down. SPY needs need a SPY down. That's an offering. Yeah. Yep, more downside. So now we do have a nice little red candle here. I'm still not signing off on jumping onto a short because I don't have any volume, but we do have a nice clearing. And I'd love to see them clear out the bottom of these candles without bottom wicking. If it bottom wicks with no volume, then that's iffy. Now, NASDAQ does have a little bit of volume influx, but the S&P doesn't yet. This is also low of the day for the S&P. So this is a decent pivot. This is an algorithm pivot right here for the S&P. This is where you want to look for, all right, well, now we're going to rotate on back down. Right here. A good little pivot. Right here is what I'm talking about. That's the morning low right there. So if you watch my YouTube video, The Morning Range, I do the first hour high and low. For the first hour high would be right here. And the first hour low is this right here. And we're holding it. From a probability standpoint, if we hold the low, then most likely that we have pretty much put the low in by the end of the day. If we close some candles under the low and hold under the low, then we'll be looking to sellers take control and move down. So watch this level here. The dotted line is the POC for the volume profile. So if I were to zoom out, this is the volume profile here. The dotted line is the POC, which is the point of control, which represents the largest distribution of volume on the histogram. So the largest amount of volume is right there, that dotted line, which tells me on the 5-minute chart, the most activity or the participation occurs right here at 4:51. And it's time frame dependent as well. So if I come out to like the 2-hour chart, the POC shifts lower, down here, 4:36. Now this is interesting as well, looking at this chart, by the way. Let me go to the OPEX chart. OPEX GEX. Right now, the max level on OPEX is 432. So let's see what happens at 432. That's 432 on SPY. The gamma flip point is 432. So look what happens as this market touches 432. Bounce, bounce, and nearly a bounce, almost just shy of 432. And that is into OPEX. So there's a good reason to believe, one, because we have seasonality of September, and two, we have a lot of GEX pull down to 432. Phenomenal. Nearly double the amount of anything else is at 432. And the flip point, too. It'll be an interesting month, that's for sure. Anyway, now we're getting off on a tangent. Tangent, cosine, sine, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Coming off. Never asked, but are your volume profile settings just standard? I've got them set as 500 look back, 200 standard width, or the line width is 200. Nice little red coming off. Beautiful. Coming off nicely. 542. ES is 45.23. Looking like it's 15.530. Wants even more. Please, sir, I want more. SPX is 45.16. Can it do it? Is the question. That's a big red bubble. Yeah. So we finally have some decent move, but the problem is no volume. However, late day, we're coming up on top of the hour and bottom wick. $45.23.50. Can they break it? Got it matching my POC, but I can't change mine to a dotted line. Go into your settings. So if you come over here to the little cog, click on your settings. You could flip on down here. Rolling POC. Click on that. There you go. So we got a bottom wick here, 45.24. NASDAQ can't come off. No volume. Bottom wick. What's the liquidity looking like on NASDAQ? 15.530 is the big one. And they've rolled it off a little bit. They had a lot stacked. They transacted it, rolled it off. ES has 45.20, which is 4 points down, nothing crazy. Apple's putting on a pretty nice bounce there. Tech in general is putting on a nice bounce. And that's what you see. When you get volume, that's what you see. No volume, bottom wick. They get you chasing, and you're not watching the volume. Anyway, hope I helped y'all learn a little something about volume today. I get some people asking me as well, how, volume sometimes tells you late. It indicates you late where you missed the move. And, you're right. And volume is not meant, or anything for that matter, is not meant for you to catch every move pinpoint top and bottom. That's just unrealistic. And that's kind of what people judge systems by. It's meant for you to catch the high confidence moves, not every little fluctuation in the market. As long as you can catch the big high confidence volume bounces and sell-offs, that's all you need. In fact, trading for me, most of the time is 0.5 to 1% growth, and then every now and then I'll pop on a 5 or 6%er every now and then, and that's where you make your money. You tread water until you hit a couple out of the park. Get 3 guys to put singles in, load the bases, and then hit one out of the park. Jim Cramer reverse index can predict the future. Seems to be that way, right? So, nice little bottom look across the board. Right off the POC as well. Do you find the last day and first month more challenging to trade? Today's certainly not easy. Normally, like especially on a Friday, they roll the VIX, you buy it up. That's pretty much what been the name of the game. Roll the VIX, buy it up. Tomorrow's going to be a little interesting, not going to lie. Because overall, my thesis is down for the week, for the end of the week. But they're killing the VIX, and you don't want to go shorting when they're rolling the VIX like that. Not to mention, VIX has already bottomed out. So are they going to roll it back to a new 52-week low on VIX? Not to mention they're starting out September. It's going to be cray-cray. Cray-cray. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned here is that no trades can be good. Yeah, absolutely. I want you all to get comfortable not trading. Get comfortable in not taking a trade. Because when you're making no money, you're making more than people losing. I love not trading. Do it all the time. And you can do it all night long. I don't trade while I sleep. It's great. A little bit of top wick. Don't say that very often. All right, can we reject the morning low and drop it like it's hot? We are coming up on the top of the hour, which unfortunately I'll have to call it a day. Bookmap only gives me an hour from 12 to 1 Central. So if you have any questions about anything we talked about, let me know. Hit me up. Shoot me a DM. I'll be happy to answer any questions you got. Otherwise, I will see you back here bright and early on Thursday afternoon, 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Looks like a bounce is going to be executed here, and there's 1 o'clock. All right, y'all. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. Yes, I do, James. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. VIX new low of the day. I'll see y'all bright and early on Thursday. I'm out. See you.